All right, welcome back. Let's get started with example 7. We're going to solve each equation and then check our answer. So we're just continuing on with multi-step equations. These ones are a little bit more complicated than the ones we were doing before, and that's always good to try to do harder and harder ones, and then we just get better and better. So again, we're trying to isolate our variable x here. There's some fractions. We did it, two different ways before, keeping the fractions and getting rid of the fractions. But for this one, we'll just keep the fractions. So right here, we have on this side of the equation, we need to combine like terms. So we need to combine these x's here. So to do that, we need to make this a fraction. So 3 over 1 is going to be a fraction. And then we need to get a common denominator, which is going to be between 1 and 2. It's going to be 2. So we're going to multiply the bottom and the top by 2 because 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, and we can multiply any number by 1 and we get the same thing. Then we're just going to rewrite here. So 9 over 2x plus 18 plus 2 times 3x would be 6 over 2x equals 11 over 2. Perfect. Now we have a common denominator, so we can just add the numbers on top. We get 9 plus 5, which is 15, over 2x plus 18 equals 11 over 2. All right, now we just have a two-step equation, so we're going to get rid of this outside bit using inverse operations. So what do we need to do? Yes, we need to subtract by 18 to both sides. That's going to cancel. We're going to be left with 15 over 2x here. And then we have this 11 over 2 minus 18. So here we're going to make this 18 a fraction. And then we need to get a common denominator. So we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by 2. And then rewrite, so we get 11 over 2 minus 18 times 2, which is 36 over 2. All right. So we rewrite over here, 15 over 2x equals, okay, we have a common denominator, which is great. Now we just need to go 11 minus 36. Not sure what that is, so I'm just going to do that over here. Find the difference between the two. 6 minus 1 is 5. 3 minus 1 is 2. So the difference is 25. And out of these two numbers, 11 and 36, 36 is bigger and 36 is negative. So that means our answer is going to be negative. And then we just keep that common denominator there. All right. Now we're trying to get x by itself. And so we have a fraction multiplied by x. So remember what we do. We multiply by that reciprocal. All right. And then all of these cancel out and become 1. And then 1 times x is just x. And then we're going to multiply fractions here. So we're going to cross cancel, right? Is there a common factor between 2 and 2? Yes, 2. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 2 one time. What about 25 and 15? Is there a common factor? Yeah, 5. 5 goes into 15 3 times. 5 goes into 25 5 times. And then we just multiply across. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. All over 1 times 3 is 3. So there's our answer right there. X equals negative 5 over 3. So now we're going to check our answer. So I'm going to write the word check. And then I'm going to write that original equation. So 9 over 2 x plus 18 plus 3x equals 11 over 2. And just double check to make sure I wrote everything correctly. Oh, you couldn't see. Yep. Okay. So we have that original equation. Now we're just going to substitute this negative 5/3 in for x in both places. So 9 over 2 times negative 5/3. Remember, whenever you put that negative number in for a variable, you always put in parentheses. Plus 18 plus 3. And equals 11 over 2. All right, so here we have, we're just going to multiply these fractions again. We can't cancel, we always look to cross cancel first. Can't cancel anything with the 2 and the 5. What about the 9 and the 3? Do they share a common factor? Yes, they do. They share 3. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 9 3 times, and then we multiply across. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15 over 2 times 1 is 2 plus 18, and then we're going to make this 3 a fraction, 3 over 1, and then multiply this fraction as well. So first we're going to look to cross cancel. Is there a common factor between 3 and 3? Yes, 3. 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 3 one time. Can't do anything with the 1 and the 5, so we just multiply across. 1 times a negative 5 is just negative 5. 1 times 1 is just 1, so negative 5 over 1 is the same thing as negative 5. All right, so here, let's just go ahead and simplify these numbers. 18 minus 5 is 13. So I'm going to rewrite this. And then we need to make this 13 a fraction. So we're going to make it 13 over 1. And then we need to add the fractions, but we need a common denominator. So between 1 and 2, we need our common denominator to be 2. So we're going to multiply the bottom and the top by 2. And we get negative 15 over 2 plus 13 times 2 is 26 over 2 equals 11 over 2. All right, so we have 26 and 15. 15 is negative, 26 is positive, so we need to find the difference between these two numbers. Since we have a common denominator, that's just what we're going to do. So I'm going to take 26 and 15 over here on the side and just figure out what's the difference. 6 minus 5 is 1, 2 minus 1 is 1. So we have 11, and 11 is going to be positive because 26 is bigger than 15 and 26 is positive. 11 over 2 equals 11 over 2. So this is a true statement, which means our solution, negative 5/3, is the solution to this original equation right up here. Wow, that was a lot of work. Okay, perfect. So now what I want is I want you to try to do B on your own. So go ahead and pause, work it out, and then press play, and we'll go over the problem. Make sure you solve it and do the check. All right, see you in a bit. All right, we're back. Let's go ahead and see how you did on this problem. So for B, we are trying to figure out what x is. So we need to isolate it. Now this is just a two-step equation. So what we're going to do first is just get rid of this bit on the outside, 15. Inverse operation would be to add 15 to both sides. Okay, those cancel. I am left with 15 over 4x. And then here equals, I'm going to want to make this a common denominator, right? I need a common denominator. I'm going to make 15 a fraction, and then I need to get a common denominator between 1 and 4, which is going to be 4. So I'm going to multiply this by 4, the bottom and the top by the same thing, because 4 divided by 4 is the same thing as 1. And you can multiply anything by 1 and it stays the same thing. It just looks a little different. So here we have it. We have 33 over 4 plus 15 times 4. What's 15 times 4? I'm going to go right over here to the side. 15 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Write the 0, carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 60. So plus 60 over 4. And yeah, then I'm going to rewrite this, 15 over 4x equals, and then we have a common denominator, which is great, so we're just going to add these numbers on top. 60 plus 33, 0 plus 3 is 3, 6 plus 3 is 9, so that's 93 over 4. All right, now we're going to get x by itself, so we are going to multiply by the reciprocal because x is being multiplied by a fraction here. So 4 out of 15 to both sides. All right, what happens? The 15s cancel, they become 1. The 4s cancel, they become 1. 1 times x is just x. All right, great. And let's look over here. So we're going to look to cross cancel, right? What is there a common factor between 4 and 4? Yes, 4. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 4 one time. Now we're going to look for a common factor between 93 and 15. Well, what I'm going to do is I know 15 is divisible by 5 and 3. Okay, I know 93 is not divisible by 5, but is it divisible by 3? I know 15 is divisible by 3. 15 has a factor of 3, which means the same thing as being divisible. So I'm going to see if 93 is divisible by 3 or has a factor of 3. To do that, I'm going to do the divisibility rules. How you know if a number is divisible by 3 is you take the digits, 9 and 3, and you add them together. 9 plus 3 is 12, and 12 is divisible by 3. That means 93 is divisible by 3. So I know it's divisible by 3. So I'm just going to figure out how many times. So I'm going to divide that. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. We subtract, and then we drop that 3 down. 3 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. No remainder. Boom. 31. So that means 3 goes into 93 31 times, and 3 goes into 15 5 times. So our answer is 31 over 5. All right. It's kind of a different answer, but that's okay. So now we're going to go ahead and check this. So go ahead and write the word check. Write down the problem. 15 over 4x minus 15 equals 33 over 4. We're going to substitute 31 over 5 in here for x. Minus 15 equals 33 over 4. So now we're just going to go ahead and simplify this bit. So we're going to multiply this fraction. Look to cross cancel first. 4 and 31 can't really do anything. What about 15 and 5? Is there a common factor? The answer is yes, 5. 5 goes into 5 one time. 5 goes into 15 3 times. And then we just multiply across. So 3 times 31, take that over here, 31 times 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So that is 93 over 4 times 1 is 4. Minus 15 equals 33 over 4. All right. Well, we have to simplify this. To do that, we need to get a common denominator. So we're going to make 15 a fraction, 15 over 1. And the common denominator between 1 and 4 would need to be 4. So we're going to multiply 4 to the bottom and to the top. And yeah, I'm just going to rewrite this. Minus 4 times 15. 15 times 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Write the 0, carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So 4 times 15 is 60 over 4 equals 33 over 4. Okay? And then now that we have a common denominator, we're just going to subtract those numbers. And I really want you to use your brain when you subtract these. Refrain from using a calculator. Okay? This is where you need to use your brain. You need to practice these. It's like a brain aerobics or something. It just keeps your brain going and sharp, quick and sharp. So you need to be using your brain and using that as your calculator. 3 minus 0 is 3. 9 minus 6 is 3. So we end up with 33 over 4, which is exactly the same thing as over here. So this is a true statement. So if you got this problem right and you got the check right, awesome job. That was a challenge. All right, let's look for the next example. This is a C here, right here. This looks like a doozy. So I want to give you a chance to try this on your own, okay? Go ahead and try it. Make sure to try the check as well. So go ahead and pause. Work it out. When you get done, press play and we'll talk about it. All right, we're back. Let's go ahead and go over this problem. There's a lot going on. Okay, so we need to simplify this side of the equation. What I see is I see a lot of parentheses. Now for this particular set of parentheses, there's nothing on the outside, like literally nothing. So this parenthesis is really unneeded. All it has is 1. 1 times x, 1 times 6, same thing. So I'm just going to rewrite this, x plus 6. Now this parenthesis has a negative on the outside, so we really need to distribute that negative, and we need to distribute it to both items. So a negative times 2x is going to be a negative 2x, and then a negative times 7 is a negative 7. And it's this second one people always forget, and then they get the whole problem wrong. So whenever there's a negative outside of parentheses, you have to distribute it equally to all the things. So negative times 2x, negative times a positive 7. And there we go. And then minus 3x equals negative 9. So now we just need to combine like terms. We have an x, a negative 2x, and a negative 3x. So negative 2x and negative 3x, that's going to be negative 5x plus x is going to give us negative 4x. So negative 4x. And then the numbers, 6 minus 7 is going to give us a negative 1. All right, now we're just to a two-step. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. And we get negative 9 plus 1, which is negative 8. And then we want to get x by itself, so we need to do the inverse operation of multiplication, which would be division, because it's negative 4 times x. So we're going to go negative 4 to both sides. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times x is just x. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Oh my goodness, all of that for just an answer of 2? Did you get it right? Well, let's go ahead and check it. So we're going to write the word check. We're going to write this whole thing down with all the parentheses and everything. So x plus 6 minus the quantity 2x plus 7 minus 3x equals negative 9. All right, now we're just going to substitute 2 in for x. So we get 2 plus 6 minus 2 times 2 plus 7 minus 3 times 2 equals negative 9. So now it's just a big order of operations problem. We're going to do the parentheses first. 2 plus 6 is 8 minus, and then these parentheses, there is multiplication and addition. So we're going to do the multiplication first. 4 plus 7, and then minus 3 times 2 equals negative 9. So again, we are going to follow the order of operations. We're going to do the parentheses here. So we have 8 minus 4 plus 7 would be 11. Minus 3 times 2, which is 6. And then sometimes what I like to do is when I have positive and negative numbers, I'll just add the negative numbers together first. So this would be 8 and 11, and 6 would be 17. So this would be a negative 17. And then 8 minus 17, this is positive, this is negative, so you take the difference, right? So the difference between 17 and 8 is 9, and 17 is a bigger number than 8, and 17 is negative, so our answer is going to be negative. So there you have it. There's a true statement. So if you got that one right, great job. That means that our answer, x equals 2, is the solution to the original problem. That was a big one. All right, let's go for, this is supposed to be a D. D, problem D. I don't know. Might be too late. This is a D. Maybe that looks like more like a D now. Okay. So I want you to go ahead and try D on your own. So go ahead and press pause. Work it out. When you get done, press play. Make sure you write in pencil, right? And we'll see you in a bit. All right, we're back. Let's go ahead and get started. So, like the last one, there's a lot of parentheses. So let's look here for this set of parentheses. There's no number on the outside of it, so this set of parentheses is really unneeded. So I'm just going to rewrite it. 4x plus 2. Yeah, so first we're just going to simplify each side of the equation. So over here we have a negative on the outside of the parentheses, so we're going to get rid of this negative by distributing it to both things. Did you distribute it to both things in your problem? Negative times 12x is negative 12x. Negative times 8 is negative 8. And then over here, we have a 2 on the outside, so we need to distribute this 2 to both items. So it's a positive 2 times 5x is going to give us a positive 10x. And a positive 2 times a negative 3, a positive times a negative is a negative. 2 times 3 is 6. Equals, and then we can simplify this. 6 plus 11 is 17. All right. Now we just have a lot of like terms. So we have the x's. Okay, so let's go ahead and simplify those first. We can go 4x minus 12x. That's going to give us a negative 8x. And then we add 10x to that. It should give us a positive 2x. Well, let's check that. If we go add the positive numbers, 4x plus 10x, that's 14x minus 12x is going to give us, yes, a positive 2x. Okay, and then let's do the numbers. So if I add these negative numbers, negative 8 and negative 6 together, I get a negative 14 plus 2 would give me a negative 12. So there we have it. That's after simplifying. Yeah, so 2, and I'm just going to check it. 2 minus 8 would be negative 6. Negative 6 minus 6 would be, yeah, negative 12. All right, so now we just have a two-step. We're trying to get x by itself, so we're going to get rid of this outside bit, doing the inverse operation, which would mean we'd add 12 to both sides. And that leaves us with, what? 7 plus 2 is 9. 1 plus 1 is 2, 29. And then we just divide it by 2 to both sides, and we get x equals 29 over 2. All right. So now we're just going to check it. So we'll write that original equation. Make sure you write it. This is a big one, so double check, triple check to make sure you wrote everything correctly. Because it would be so unfortunate to not write something correctly and then end up getting it wrong because you wrote it incorrectly. I've done that a ton of times, so now I hate when that happens because you spend so much time on a problem. So now I just really double check, triple check to make sure that I'm writing everything correctly. Okay, I think that's it. So let's go ahead and substitute 29 over 2 in for x. Starting to worry I'm going to run out of space. Okay, I'm okay. We made it. All right, so we substituted 29 over 2 in for x. So now we're just going to simplify. So here, this first one, we're going to make this a fraction, right? We're going to do we got to do the parentheses first, right? So parentheses. And within the parentheses, there's multiplication and addition. So we're going to do the multiplication first. So we're multiplying fractions. First, we're going to cross cancel. Is there anything, a common factor between 4 and 2? And the answer is yes, 2. 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 4 two times. And then we just multiply across. 2 times 29. Well, I'm not exactly sure what that is, so I'm just going to go over here to my side paper, and I'm going to figure it out, which is what I want you to do. Okay, use your brain. 2 times 9 is 18, right? The 8 carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So that ends up being 58, and then over 1 times 1 is just 1. So I'm good with just 58, because 58 over 1 is the same thing as 58. All right, so now we have that, 58 plus 2. We're going to move over here to this parentheses and try to simplify that. We have multiplication and addition, so we need to do the multiplication first. I'm going to make this a fraction, 12 over 1, and then we're just going to look to cross cancel. So is there a common factor between 12 and 2? Yes, there is 2. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 12 6 times. And then we just multiply across. 6 times 29, I am not sure what that is, so I'm going to go up here and go 29 times 6. 6 times 9 is 54. Write the 4, carry the 5. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17. 12 plus 5, yeah. So 174. So 174, and then 1 times 1 is just 1. 174 over 1 is just the same thing as 174. And then we add 8 here, plus 2 times, and then we need to make this a fraction. And inside this parenthesis, we have multiplication and subtraction, so we have to do the multiplication first. We look to cross cancel, and it doesn't look like there's anything we can cross cancel. So we're just going to have to multiply across. So we're going to have to go 29 times 5. I'm going to go up here. 29 times 5. 5 times 9 is 45. Write the 5, carry the 4. 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 4 is 14. So 145. And then 1 times 2 is 2, minus 3 equals, we can simplify this side of the equation. 6 plus 11 is 17. All right, so now we have a bunch of parentheses still. We need to simplify those. So this first one, 58 plus 2 is just 60. Minus 174 plus 8, that would be 182, right? Yeah, that'd be 182. And then we have this bit right here, plus 2 times. And we need to do this parentheses, but we have a fraction here. We need to make 3 a fraction, 3 over 1, and then get a common denominator, which between 1 and 2 would be 2. So we're going to multiply the bottom and the top by 2. And we'd end up with 145 over 2 minus 6 over 2 equals 17. All right. So here we just need to do the parentheses first again. So I'm going to rewrite this 60 minus 182 plus 2 times, all right, we have a common denominator, so now we can just subtract. 145 minus 6 would be 139 over 2, and we keep that common denominator. All right. Now we're here, we can go ahead and multiply this fraction. So this is, we're going to make this 2 over 1, and we're going to look to cross cancel. Is there a common factor? Yes, 2. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 2 one time. Then we multiply across, and we get 60 minus 182 plus 139 equals 17. Okay. Now we're just going to, do this. So we can go 60 minus 182. This is negative, this is positive, so we have to find the difference between the two. 182 minus 60. And that would be 2 minus 0 would be 2. 8 minus 6 is 2, and then 1. It's 122 out of 60 and 182. 182 is a bigger number, so that means our answer is going to be negative, plus 139. Okay, so we have a negative here and a positive, so we have to take the difference here. So I'm going to go 139 minus 122. 9 take away 2 is 7. 3 take away 2 is 1. 1 take away 1 is 0. So we have 17 out of these numbers, 122 and 139. 139 is bigger and it's positive, so our answer is going to be positive. So there we have it. That is a true statement, which means our solution, 29 over 2, is the solution to this equation. Did you get that one right? That one was so hard. If you got that one right, that is amazing. If you didn't, that's okay. This was a hard problem. So go ahead and erase whatever the little mistakes were that you had, if you had any, and just rewrite it so it is all correct and perfect for you to turn in for your notes. All right, we will see you next time. Goodbye and have a wonderful day.